does. He does.
Prediction? Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, being a great warrior. Maybe we would a Mexican. I have to put the joke.
No. Hey, thank you. Perfect for playing, man. I appreciate you.
Good timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Whereby we are live in EnVivo podcast. Always Money Marrero
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper. Breaking it down like it is.
Like it should be.
Like it should be. And sometimes I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, why not?
But I do. I do want to talk about it. I need hugs. I'm feeling very
man.
Oh, man.
Why? What happened? What happened, brother?
Yeah, that's Super Bowl for boxing this weekend. Oh,
didn't go your way?
Did you watch it?
Did I watch it? I wish I didn't. That's for sure.
So, yeah, we got to talk about the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the stop, the goes, and
Thank
everything
goodness
in
for
between.
Berlanga.
Definitely.
Sure.
We'll definitely touch on that as well, as far as how that went. But what he is talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the fight of 2020. That would be Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez Jr. for the undisputed unification bouts on ESPN.
3 million views.
The most streamed fight.
Monster ratings.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's almost
thanks
NBA
for being
Finals
free.
ratings.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
Free.com. Yeah. So that's it makes such a difference, but also having the quality. I'll go ahead and say that they, and we're not marketing guys, we're going to get to the boxing part. Don't worry. But I thought their marketing was outside the box.
Phenomenal.
It was consistent. It was quality, and it really kind of engaged people. And I think they reaped the reward.
It's the promotional pool.
And even
of,
on top
ESPN.
of that, even
That's
on
what
top
happened
of
to
that,
ESPN behind
having
you.
UFC on top of that we finally just whipped some,
Ignored them,
UFC
man.
ass.
I didn't even remember there was a UFC fight that night. I was like, what? UFC? What is that? Not tonight, Dana.
Not tonight.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
So let's kind of get into it as far as like our thoughts. And hey, guys, thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. We know that a lot of other people have gave their insight, but you know what? They're not us. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about our experience. Even though he was kind of being a little disappointed, a little down in the dumps, but myself and Manny definitely did watch the fight. We actually did a live, and thanks for all that tuned in.
I appreciate those who did tune in and interacted with us. That was great. And no, we weren't streaming the fight. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was my favorite question.
Team stream.
Can you guys?
Where can I find it?
Show the fight and not your face.
We don't want to see your face.
Yeah, I want to see your face. I want to see the screen. So let's kind of talk about, since we know the experience that we had and kind of how it went. And again, Teofimo did get the UD. I would like to hear from my brother, because we really haven't talked about what his thoughts were on the fight.
Yeah, I was in Houston, guys, and
H-Town.
Shout out to all my family over there. My in-laws, we watched it there with
in-laws,
my sister-in-laws, and they're pretty cool people sometimes.
Yeah.
I know how that goes. Just kidding. Love y'all.
Much love.
Love them all. But no, yes. Well, where do I begin? Okay, all credit to Teofimo Lopez. I mean, this is what you want to show kids, that what people mean when they say stick to your game plan. Stick to your game plan.
Concur.
Don't and this is what Teofimo did. Teofimo Lopez did. And to go next level on the breakdown, the thing that I loved about Teofimo Lopez is all the little nuances that he did. The jab that he used. He didn't use it to necessarily for power per se. It was more of a disrupting jab.
Yep.
Anytime Loma tried to get something going, that jab in your face. That jab in your face.
That's right.
That jab in your face.
That's a great point.
And he would also land a lot of right hooks to the body. And that's like basic 101 in boxing. What they tell you is stick the jab, go to the body.
The meat tenderizer.
The meat tenderizer.
He wasn't really focused on his power, and which a lot of people were rooting for Teofimo, but they were incorrect the way they were analyzing the fights. They were like, it's going to be a knockout. It's going to be a knockout. No, it's not going to be a knockout.
No,
I think it's the smartest fight he's ever fought. To be honest.
Yeah, and then credit to Teo. He just kept sticking with his game plan. Every time Lomachenko tried to set something up, the jab would disrupt him. He would go to the body. I know Lomachenko had a lot of right hooks to the body,
right?
But also, check this little detail out: his footwork. Every time Loma moved his lead foot on the outside of Lopez to try to get that left hook, Lopez would recognize it and move his foot slightly into Loma's. It'll throw him off balance, and he did that all night. Because one of Loma's most effective moves, and the reason he's called the Matrix, is that side hop. The side hop that he always did.
His angles.
And Teofimo pretty much neutralized it.
Yep.
At 23 years old. You're talking savvy veteran veteranship or display of veteranship skills at 23 years old. He neutralized the footwork of one of the greatest footwork that we've ever seen. Like Lomachenko has.
Yeah,
and I never expected that, to be honest.
Yeah,
because he never showed that because of the opponent that he had faced in the past.
You disrupt the timing with the jab. You go to the body and you neutralize the footwork. That's sticking to your game plan. And that was impressive. The second time I watched it, I was even more impressed with Teofimo Lopez. I had it the first time around. I had it 7-5. Generous Lomachenko gave him an extra round. But the second time I watched it, I had it easy 8-4. Just because of the ring generalship that Teofimo displayed the whole night. And early on, you can tell Lomachenko wanted no power, nothing to do with the power of Teofimo Lopez. That's why it took him a long time to get going. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was thinking, he's Lomachenko. He's processing everything. He's downloading everything.
Right.
But that download didn't finish until the 8th round, and by then it was pretty much too late.
He was in dial-up.
Yeah. He was in
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't start throwing until Till visibly started lowering his hands and started getting a little more tired. He didn't start bringing up that jab or the guard up after the jab, and that's when Lomachenko started unloading, coming back, but. No, Teofimo stuck with it. In the 12th round, his dad wanted him to box, but he didn't feel that way. He didn't feel it was part of the right strategy at that point. So he went out there aggressively and emphatically won that round and won the fight.
Yeah, so many great points that you made there because, people going into the fight, it seemed like they were really kind of hot and cold on both fighters, giving what I call overreaction and over crediting as far as a certain fighter, as far as their ability. It almost felt like going into the fight, especially those that are opposing going against the, Vasily Lomachenko, that he's just a hype job. And my point to that is, he's everything, that people said he was and more as far as a fighter, as far as how he was outside of the ring, that doesn't matter to me. But as far as he was a fighter, he had and still has, a respectable career. And let's remember, like when you discredit him,
you discredit the winner.
You discredit the winner. So like let's please not do that. Teofimo had a phenomenal game plan. He executed on the game plan, which is a mark of a champion, and he was the better fighter than man.
That's the world we live in, Gringo, nowadays, brother. And the way it works is that everybody is quick. Everybody falls in love with the new guy first, and then they want to put him in the pedestal. They're quick to put him at the top of the pedestal, and then once he's there, they want to tear him down. And he's not really appreciated until he retires. And then once this is in his retirement tour, everybody, I was always a fan. I've seen it happens in every sport. Again.
It happens in every sport.
Yep.
You lose a lot, they feel sorry for you. You win a lot, they hate you. Thank you, Patriots. Right?
Or the Warriors. Like when Steph Curry came to the scene, he's a new kid.
Now
they started winning. They're like, hey, wait a minute. I hate you.
Hate
too many rings.
So definitely, there was no hate from the standpoint of the fans. There were people tuning in. It was a great event from top to bottom as far as the card, very exciting. We'll touch on that. But as far as the main event, I'll say that did it live up to the hype for you?
Yes, definitely. Well, I wouldn't say Not completely, because it did take Lomachenko a long time to unload, and in those first few rounds, I know casual boxing fans that tuned in, casual fans that tuned in were probably getting a little frustrated. It was because the only one.
What's
that was
the hype?
engaging
What's
was
the
Taylor.
hype?
Yeah,
Why
I
are
was
they
like,
talking
why is
so
this
much
guy
about this
great?
guy?
Why is this guy?
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the best boxers. I can kind of sense that, but luckily the second half of the fight was fantastic,
Just as expected.
Yeah, it was stellar. So
Yeah.
yes, for the most part, yes, it did live up to the hype. It was like a dream that whole Saturday was just amazing. Just ended capped off by this great fight, and I'm in a very happy place for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if my prediction was wrong, I predicted Lomachenko to win, and well, that didn't work out.
Wait, if it makes you feel better, I picked Lopez and mine was still wrong. So it's a bunch of wrong people at this table.
Oh, it's so good. It's what we do.
Kind of touch on as far as another thing, not just as far as discrediting the people that were fighting, as far as discrediting Lomachenko, but there was another discredit from the standpoint of what not being able to enjoy the win because Donkey of the Week.
Oh, Donkey of the Week, and it's pretty unanimous. It's Manny. Go ahead. I know you're anxious to get on, and it's not Moretti this time. It's it's a new entrant into the Julie Letterman, and it's sad because her dad is Harold Letterman.
Right.
So, but to be this far off,
it's just
this
way
wide,
far off, to be
119,
honest.
109. Ugh, that's
I mean, when
11 rounds to 1.
That's not.
That's
It makes no
ridiculous.
sense.
I mean, we've had this conversation before so many times, and a lot of people are going to make that argument that keep in mind that these judges, they have specific angles, that they're not seeing everything the same way we are. That being said, they fought a lot of it in the middle of the ring, and you were able to see things pretty clearly.
There wasn't a lot of swing rounds either.
No, I mean, at first it felt like they were, but like on second review, it was pretty clear cut.
It was pretty
like
clear.
to me, the first 7 minus the second round was
That's exactly how I had it. The first 7, maybe the second round if you're feeling generous towards Lomachenko.
And then 8 through 11.
8 through 11 was all Loma.
And then 12th round was Teofimo.
Teo. It's pretty simple.
Yes.
Right?
So I mean, that's how I
That's
saw
how
it.
I had it as
and
well.
that's upon second viewing. So like they were that being said, so in my realm it was a 7-5, 8-4 fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could say I could see somebody saying
maybe 9-3.
Well, I mean,
that's kind of pushing
remember
it.
when when we were watching the fights, we were talking about it, especially that third round. That first and second round, it was clearly Teofimo. Third round is where Teofimo had more defense, and everything he landed, it was just in the gloves. So we did see some activity with Lomachenko in that round that it could have gone either way. Of course, I looked at the fight back again, and I think he did. I had it, 8-4. I mean, I'm sorry, 7-5. That's the way I had it. But the night of the fight, I actually gave that third round to Teofimo, and we talked about it. And I think a lot of people are confused, especially, which, by the way, amigos, I got the flag right here. Still stand by the guy. I think he had given us a lot of excitement in the ring, and he will continue to do so.
He has.
I don't think there's an excuses. And to the Lomachenko fans, we can't be justifying things. And 2 things happen in this fight, in my eyes. Number 1, first of all, Lomachenko respected Teofimo's power. Okay,
well,
that's for sure. That's for sure. And you're not going to come in the same way you come in with other fighters. Maybe a first round, he's kind of studying. But the second thing that happened in this fight is just what Hopper just said. 8 former champions have fought Lomachenko with a game plan. Lomachenko was able to take these guys away from the game plan. This young kid, and that's why I respect, and by the way, I do respect Teofimo a lot. Just because you root for a specific boxer doesn't mean that you don't. I've always said it. And people that are analyzing the fight saying that it's going to be a knockout, it's going to be listen, if Lopez stuck to the jab and stuck to the basics and tried to get him away and not trying to, like he mentioned earlier, stop him with his own game, he's going to be very successful. And he could actually potentially get, the decision. No questions asked. And that's what he did. Respected the power. And the reality is he couldn't really land anything because Teofimo really put exactly the same thing, Lomachenko does to every boxer. He exactly did it to him.
Man.
He got him frustrated. And I'm glad that he took some risk, between the 8th to the 11th round, because that's where we wanted to see. But I think it was just a little too late. I don't know what happened. I don't want to hear people now. I don't want another Pacquiao and Mayweather thing that, because of the surgery I don't want to hear any of that shit.
Ring rust.
You had your opportunity regardless.
So can I talk about
what happened?
For those that aren't familiar with expand on the surgery, what are you referring to, Manny?
Injury.
The injury, the post-injury that he just did like a procedure surgery in the shoulder that I believe that he got hurt about 5-6 weeks before the fight.
Right.
And but this is the thing about Lomachenko. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't come out and interview himself after the fight. This happened. That's why. And the reality is you have to give the credit to Teofimo.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do to win the fight.
Honestly, and then going into a fight, I've always said it, and the boxers, and then Teofimo Lopez confirmed it today. He said he was injured as well going into the fight, but he didn't bring it up because boxers always go in there hurt. I mean, they don't go in there 100%. Boxers, they just finished training camp. They just busted their butts through training camp. They're not 100% going into these fights. The wear and tear that they go through in training camp, they have little nicks and knacks going into the fight, and it's the whole post fight surgery on the shoulder, it's not really that much of a good look in my opinion. Hopefully, I know it wasn't Loma that leaked this. I bet you it was.
It had to be someone
else
from the camp, from the team, trying to keep justifying. And it just doesn't.
It does the opposite. It's like, because people really aren't trying to hear it, even if it's true. They're not. You lost. I mean,
exactly.
If you
had your
felt
opportunity,
if you felt that serious about it, that it was that hurting that much,
you should have
postponed
the fight.
Postpone the fight.
Well, obviously you're going to leak something to try to get leverage, and the leverage is to get a rematch. So I propose it to our brother, who is a big Lomachenko fan. Manny, would you want to see a rematch?
A rematch for what right now? Because there's not a rematch clause in there. And right now,
which is crazy.
It is crazy, and I don't know why that happened. But right now, if you think about this, whether if there's a rematch or not, I think the outcome will be a little bit different. But that's like me telling you, hey, you take a ball and throw it out there and see if you can hit that basket. You throw it and it doesn't happen, and then you throw the second one, and I got it. You had your opportunity. And I think right now a rematch will be great. Sadly enough, we'll probably have to pay pay-per-view for that, but we're going to pay for it.
Man.
And it will attract a lot of people, and I think it's great for business. It's great for business, and I think it should happen. But if I'm Teofimo Lopez, and he said it right, I'm the king now.
Yeah, he's the king.
And he is in sole control of his career in the future. What I don't like right now is that they're entertaining the fact that he wants the winner of Josh Taylor and Ramirez. Just to be the youngest person to be undisputed in two different classes.
Back to back.
That's just, I mean,
you think
honestly, he's got a legitimate chance to do it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
do it.
Get.
There's a lot of young lions.
There's a lot of people at the 135 that we want to see him fight. And I'm not saying to prove. Don't think about that. I want to see him fight the best. He said it. To be a Floyd Mayweather, you got to fight the best.
You got to fight like Pretty Boy Floyd first.
Like Pretty Boy first.
I love that.
And some of the fights are not pretty easy, but they're doable fights. Like with the Ryan Garcia one.
Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya. Bob Arum said it himself. I can call my friend Oscar right now and
make
we
it
can
happen.
get that fight done in a heartbeat. The only one I can't realistically see happen is the Tank Davis one. Yeah, because I don't think Floyd's gonna put him anywhere near him. And it's just hard.
It's also,
PBC,
remember that
blah, blah.
now you want the attention, and other people want that attention.
Yeah.
And now you're going to start getting people coming up. Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Haney's probably going to start. He's probably going to throw something out there. Someone's going to out there start calling.
Even Felix Verdejo can throw himself in the mix.
Yeah,
with the win maybe here soon.
It's not confirmed yet, but I know the rumors real big in terms of, and we said it all along, man. I think the best matchup for Verdejo right now to prove himself is to fight a former champion,
like Richard Comey. So hopefully it does happen.
And hopefully it does happen. But right now you have a lot of people who are going to be mandatory. By the way, Lee Selsby, don't forget about that one, and Kambosos. They're fighting next week in the UAK.
We got a lot of sharks
for the
there.
number one IBF mandatory challenger.
There's a lot of
so
sharks
it could be
still,
a possibility that he can start. Now things are going to start accommodating to in terms of get some people to contend for any of those titles. But I think right now, and this is the sad thing about it, and I'm concerned, maybe you got a different perspective, but I'm concerned that right now it's all going to be about the money. I proved it. I'm the king, and it's going to be fights.
I don't know. I don't think so. Teofimo, from his interviews, anything that he's saying, and we're gonna hold him accountable to this because he's
hyped. He's excited. He can say whatever he wants. No.
He's
on top of the world.
He's saying that. No, he's talking more in depth about how and he threw out Boots and he threw out somebody else. He said the next wave of fighters are bringing back the old school ways, the throwback fighters where we just fight anybody. And you know what? I believe him. I think until he proves me wrong, and then Bob Arum.
But at the end of the day, you didn't want to fight Lomachenko for what they offered him, and it was a battle.
That's a whole other point. That has nothing to do with his willingness to fight.
He deserves right now at least double the amount of what he made with Lomachenko if he's going to fight someone else and defend his titles.
So and then it worked out for him. He got paid what he wanted, and he beat Lomachenko. So I see him. Back. Hopefully he does take this approach where he's a throwback fighter and wants to fight the best. That'd be amazing for the sport.
Would you rather see him moving up to the
No, not right now. To be honest, I don't have much interest. I would love to see it. Yes, I'd watch it, but there's so many people at 135.
I agree. 100% agree.
And Lomachenko, and let's be frank, it's not making excuses for him or anything. Do you guys feel maybe he's too? He had no business at 135 pounds.
Yes.
Maybe he should go back down to 130 or 126.
Yeah, I've been saying that actually for a while. I thought 126 was natural weight, and I thought 130 was kind of pushing it.
I think 130 is perfect for him.
135 is just a different.
No, I think 130.
Even when his fights like with Luke Campbell and Linares dropped him, it wasn't the same Lomachenko that you saw at 126 and 130. And we always talk about this moving up in divisions. They're there for a reason. But he's daring to be great, and he doesn't get that much credit for it for moving up a division he shouldn't even be in. He's just like Canelo fighting a light heavyweight.
That's
Canelo
why
has no business.
Well, that's why he didn't get credit, because he moved in on a time that they felt like it was more cherry picking to get him a 3-division champion, and in Rocky Martinez. And the thing about it, man, he stayed there for quite a while. There was no way going up at all. And there was not really a big interest on him going down.
Nobody wanted to fight him.
Nobody wanted to fight him. So he took the fights that were available and that people wanted to see, and that they were pretty good fights. Don't get me wrong.
Like, people discredit Lomachenko. I really don't understand it, because he fought Gary Russell in his 3rd fight.
And nobody wants to fight Gary Russell. And that's the statement I made.
Like, looking back now on that fight, how we were treated to something very special early on in his career. 3-0. Lomachenko fighting Gary Russell.
I know.
Wow.
Losing against Salido.
After losing against Salido. In his 2nd fight for a championship belt. Come on now, guys.
So,
what are we doing here?
And three of the guys, and I made a statement this last time when we did a live video the other day, is 3 of the guys that he has fought, that the only 3 guys that were able to get him into the distance, they're still with opportunities to contend again for a title. Gary Russell's still a champion, right?
And then
Luke Campbell has an opportunity to shock the world against Ryan Garcia. And
all these guys, everybody on his career, on his at the time that he fought him, were legit top 10 fighters in the division.
Absolutely,
they were always top 10 fighters in the. That's his.
He didn't wait anybody out. When he was Lomachenko and he made.
Nicholas Walters.
Axman
quit.
That guy was in his prime. And we haven't heard anything from him since.
Nope.
Other than him talking about a recent comeback. So I just want to touch on something, unpack it. You went by really quick, Manny. But you said that you didn't want to see a unification at 140. Him getting the winner. Him being Teofimo Lopez of Josh Taylor versus
Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez. You said that you want him. To go ahead and still handle business. And for those that are listening, just to clarify, we've been saying because Teofimo Lopez is unified, but keep in mind, he is unified. He has the IBF, which he had prior to the fight. He has the WBO, and he has the Ring magazine, and he has the WBC franchise. But the regular
and WBA is super.
Yeah, the regular WBC. Yeah, and the WBA is super. So the regular WBA and the WWBC, the regular WBC is by Devin Haney. And the regular WBA is Gervonta Tank Davis. So, so technically, That's what I would like. I actually mentioned this on social media. I was saying, like, there are fights to be had. You could talk about the political back and forth, but I think a fight that I think is probably pretty realistic is, I think that the Devin Haney fight can get made.
Yes, just because of how Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker got made, and they're with I believe Haney's contract's about to come up. I believe I'm not too sure on that.
Trying
yet.
to go to Mayweather.
I think he's trying to bounce shit from Matchroom. I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that dynamic goes out, but I think Haney's going to be the odd man out here, just like Boo Boo Andrade is in that division up there, being the odd man out. I think he's just going to his allegiances are probably taking him elsewhere. I think a more realistic fight, man, that I would love to see Teofimo in is with Ryan Garcia. I mean, that would be amazing.
So,
no, you don't think so?
Well, I mean, I think right now, if you talk about
if he beats Luke Campbell, I mean,
that's
a quality.
If he beats Luke Campbell,
win.
if he does beat Luke Campbell,
yeah, that's why I hesitated, because I was like,
well, if he beats Luke Campbell,
I think there is a chance for him to
If he beats him, yes.
I'm talking like he's gonna beat him. My boy Luke. Oh, come on.
I know you're gonna have a hard time.
I don't know what I'm gonna do that night.
But honestly, I don't think right now, seeing the way that Teofimo has improved. Based on this last fight, that we haven't even seen Teofimo at a peak yet, and I can't imagine seeing him at a peak level in fighting a very young, hungry fighter. I think it's going to be.
I think he'll peak like at 140,
yeah,
147.
I think right now that I don't think it's for the best interest right now to bring in Ryan Garcia at this particular time. I do agree that the next potential fighter that can actually come in and it'll be a really good matchup is against Devin Haney. And that way just settle the whole franchise kind of thing and continue to grab 100% of those belts.
Yeah, that'd be a good
that
fight
would be
too.
the best for me when I think about it. I think Ryan Garcia will get a shot, but I think Ryan Garcia needs to prove a little bit more. He hasn't gone a lot to the distance. We don't know yet.
If he beats Luke Campbell, he'd prove more than anything.
He
that
will,
Devin
because
Haney
now
would
you're
do,
fighting someone that's not a power punching, but he's got a great distance, great reach, and a great jab that's going to keep him into the distance, and that'll give him problems to really land that devastating left hook that he has. He just has to really continue to jab.
All Tank has is Pedraza on his resume.
Yeah,
and so Ryan would have Luke Campbell on his resume if he wins, if he defeats him.
Now that would be the
Devin Haney.
That would be the match
Gamboa
of the ages in terms of money wise. Because
that's
and then we know the relationship that Bob Arum has. It's going to be ESPN. Hopefully, it will be, but it'll probably be pay-per-view most likely. And I think it just makes sense. I just don't think it makes sense right now.
You want to let the fight marinate?
Yeah, I would rather see.
Cautiously. Remember what happened? Juan Manuel Lopez and Yurokis Gamboa.
Yeah, I would rather see Ryan Garcia then coming in and fighting the winner of, maybe
the
Tank
winner
Davis.
of who?
Ryan Garcia.
Tank Davis.
Right.
Because
I would love to see Tank fighting
Tank can't
anybody,
stay there longer. I mean, he can barely make the weight, and if
he's fighting at 130 pounds now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
But if he beats, we
will be there in Vivo, Long Live Boxing.
If he beats Tank, if Tank beats Leo, and he has nothing else to prove than the 130, let's move up with the money's at. Let's go.
He's at 135, but just
but he went down. He's going down
Leo just because Leo demanded it.
Exactly.
Leo wasn't budging off 130 pounds.
And he ain't doing it.
No way.
No, but he's going to weigh 150 to in a fight. But I think right now, if just go down there, grab those belts, if that happens, and then just go back up there and move up and challenge a good Ryan Garcia and see what happens. Even if Ryan beats Luke Campbell, he's there. He definitely, you're beating a guy that still has a lot, and that could actually, if he beats him, if he beats Ryan Garcia, he's going to definitely have an opportunity for another shot. I don't think he'll ever beat Teofimo Lopez, but that could be the path for him too. I mean, the relationship, we talked about it. So there's a lot of things around, kind of orchestrating.
Exciting possibilities.
But like you're saying, let's marinate it. Let me just smell the marinated it yet, and then we'll put it to cook and see how it turns out.
Leaving you guys with two sweet, two nuggets with some sweet sauces. Just kind of think about this real quick. So just to clarify, you guys are saying that Teofimo needs to go ahead. He still has work to do to unify 135. My thinking is this. I'm thinking that he will go to 140, and he will take the winner of Taylor Ramirez.
What makes you think that?
Because
Is it
I think
more because of the money?
I
or
think
the hype,
because
or
of the
just
angle
because-
that the ESPN Top Rank and ESPN Top Rank more specifically wants to display is they're going after that back-to-back undisputed, never been done youngest in history, and Top Rank has Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez on their
They have all
promotional
three.
They can do
contracts.
that. They can.
So
do that
they're going to
easy.
do that. And Teofimo is a big 135-pounder. So I think the transition to 140 would probably be a little smoother for him. Maybe an introduction to the weight class fight. Maybe he'll fight somebody at 140 pounds while the
Well,
Jose
he would have
Ramirez-
to. He would have to then, relinquish his titles. Then.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening if he does have a tune-up fight, then they won't be able to say back-to-back.
No.
Huh? So
That's what I'm saying. There's
he's
no.
gonna have
There's
to.
not gonna. He's going right
He's
into
going
it.
right
has to
into it.
go
So
right
this-
into it.
This is my thing, guys. I think that win, lose, or draw. I think he was going to 140 anyway.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think this is just kind of a formality. So I think this is what's going to happen. Again, this is just my opinion.
No, it's a valid one because there's a lot of stuff in stake. I don't know if he really wants to give up his titles right now and not have fun and enjoy it.
No, definitely.
He seems to be a guy that does enjoy success, and we love that.
Absolutely.
And not really, and he has nothing to prove to anyone. So I hope people stop talking about that. He has nothing to prove, but I feel like right now it's pretty much an easy way because of the circumstances. He has a legitimate chance to beat Ramirez, either Taylor, and because they're all from Top Rank, it's a lot easier to make that fight
But see,
happen.
that's another thing too. Like you got to think from the standpoint of as a business model for Top Rank to have unified champion over two divisions and over in the prime sweet spot divisions.
Yeah, Sean, but listen, Teofimo basically will end up being the cash cow of Top Ranks right now. He's going to be. He is right now.
I think he already is.
Well, he already is. He's going to start. He's not getting paid for it, but he's going to. Without any fans, without any circuit, anything like that, I don't think Bob Aaron's not going to be able to pay what they probably want or deserve.
But keep in mind, though, what did we just come off of as far as the stream, the views, and they did have a small.
Yep. They can always just come to Texas.
Here we are.
Jerry World.
Right. So
I know that'll be exciting.
Just come to Texas, yeah.
So
you could still put it. Yeah, if you go to Jerry World,
25,000 people. I'm there.
The possibility is definitely there. So Teofimo, you're the man.
Yeah,
great job. But kind of touch on this just for the sake of time. Now, we talked about what we believe he's going to do, and it seems like we're going to have all different opinions. Now, we got the flag right here, the beautiful Ukraine flag.
Love my boy.
What do you
still
think
fan.
he's going to do, Manny? Or what would you like to see him do?
I mean, first of all, I love, I would like to keep entertaining a rematch. It's going to happen now. And then, he's just got to go back to the drawing board and see what's going to be best for him. I don't think if the rematch never happens, then I think he should just, say I did what I did in the lightweight and let me just get down there. Let me go ahead and take a quick look and see what I can do. And he could probably get a quick match. He could probably challenge either Burchelt or Valdez, the winner of that, real quickly.
That'd be amazing.
That could be something that maybe a rematch from from Valdez when he was in the championships in amateur. Maybe fighting a strong brawler like Burchelt.
And that's another fight that's easily made doable,
right?
Because
they're both
with
top ranks.
So I would love that, the winner of that fight.
That's for me my best case scenario.
He could jump right into another title shot.
Entertain the
El Alacrán.
Entertain.
Oh, you know who I'd be
the
rooting
rematch.
for.
Let's entertain it. Let's go ahead and try to pursue
you know
it.
who I'd be rooting for.
All right, so
let's try to pursue that rematch. And if you see that as an
you
uphill,
you said rematch like 3 times, so you do want the rematch?
Okay, the more I think about it, I really do. But is it really? Am I going to be very honest to think that it's going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so because of the circumstances that Teofimo wants bigger and better things, and he said it. Teofimo said it. Maybe he just said it. I'm the king.
You know what?
I'm the king. Fuck it.
Teofimo has this bad taste in his mouth because of the way.
The
way things went down, where
everything was about Loma. Everything was about Loma. Where's Teofimo at? And he proved it.
He even felt his own promotional company was going against him and this was a crazy interview he gave. He said that they presented him a contract that when he loses, this was the amount that he was going to make. So he felt
slapping him in the face.
That, yeah. And then the way he personally, I don't think he likes Lomachenko's attitude And I've read that in many different sites. I've never met Lomachenko,
Scott Van
but
Pelt
he has.
interviewed him. Did you see the interview?
Lomachenko has this. He's always been real short with the answers. He's never really tried to resonate with the fans here in America, and he's always like belittling.
Yeah,
the
you don't
US.
see a picture
Back
with me
in
and
my
Loma.
country. He'll say stuff like that, and I don't know. He does seem kind of. Arrogant, right?
Arrogant, condescending.
Arrogant, condescending. Like,
I don't want to
it's
say
me.
arrogant, but he's more a little bit different from their
He's
culture.
kind of a douche. He's not like a Charlo douche, but he's a high class douche. He's
Snobby douche.
So to your point, Sean, to answer the question properly, all right, because of the circumstances and the position.
with your pinky out.
Proper.
Oh, high tea time.
Because of how Teofimo has sole control of his future right now, and for bigger and better things, I think it's going to be an uphill battle that I don't want to really start, thinking and then get disappointed later on. But if I start thinking about him possibly getting better, if in fact he has something in the shoulder, had surgery, get better.
I mean, he was in the bed.
Well, I like I said, ain't no excuses. And then he goes down there and starts building his career again. No shame on him. He shouldn't be. But because of his ego, that's what you're trying to say. His ego may not be able to let him sleep.
An arrogant egomaniac.
May not let him sleep. I'm sure
shoulder.
he's going to pursue it. And so at the end of the day, it's going to be money talk. But go ahead and start your career down there and see what happens.
Good.
So before we wrap this thing up, as far as the great fight and good stuff for both you guys, I love the passion. I got to ask this. So, Manny, where would you like him to go if he stays at 135? They got some hungry young lions and try to maybe fight for that rematch. Go down to 126 and maybe tread a little bit more, have a little bit more opportunity.
Well, I think 126 will be. I don't think 126 immediately. I think he can go probably as low as.
It's too much of a weight cut.
Yeah, that's his junior.
I think 130.
I think maybe super featherweight 130.
Yeah,
that would be. Why don't you go ahead and do this? Why don't you go ahead and bring Jamal Herring too? I mean, that's
he can fight that too. The winner of that
the
fight,
winner of that, Carl Frampton. That's
The
another.
Jackal.
Listen, the 130 is so positioned for top rank that they can do anything they want. And I think for me, when I'm analyzing this, is he's got a much better
makes
chance
sense at 130.
to go down to the 130 and to just get some of those stuff.
Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko. Who you got?
Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko.
130.
I thought about that too, and that would be a pretty decent.
You're being
matchup
recorded,
too.
sir. Go ahead and give your prediction.
No, I would. I'm not. I can't.
We're gonna hold you to it right now.
I can't.
When it comes up, we're not even gonna talk about it because you already gave your prediction.
I just went through like an Errol Spence crash, and I crashed not in a Ferrari, but I crashed myself on that night of the fight, and I was crushed. But I saw the I saw the reality.
This was
good one. Good one. Can't say a lot right now. But that would be good.
What would you rather
way to
have,
sit on
though?
the fence, Manny.
Big time with a saddle. would you rather? What do you want? What do you want more? Shakur at 130 or a rematch with Teofimo? If you can only have one, the rest of your life.
Rematch.
Really?
Rematch.
I would have not predicted that.
Me either.
Why not? Rematch. Give it.
I would like to see him go down to 130 and fight the winner of Alacran and Oscar Valdez.
That's my perfect scenario.
That's
my scenario.
I want to see that.
That's my scenario.
I think not only that, it'd be more of you definitely get a lot more fan interest in it.
I can't believe I didn't say this. Before his career is over, the beautiful flags are right here in the same presence. Lomachenko, Verdejo, will they ever fight at 130?
Not at 130. Verdejo won't come down.
No, he won't. I don't think
Verdejo won't come down. And if he stays now,
he's too big for that.
If he stays at
He's a big
135,
guy.
if Loma stays at 135 and starts looking into some of these younger guys too that they want to, how about
He's gonna go back down. I can't.
I don't know. I think remember what Bob always talked about, that he's a small. He is
a small.
And I think right now it makes sense. I think right now he's probably not in his prime, but I think right now he has a legitimate opportunity to fight for a belt rather than just go to Shakur Stevenson and just start from scratch and prove himself for an opportunity of a championship.
Absolutely. So that's a great segue. Yeah. Good stuff, guys. We don't have a lot of time, so give it to my man Hopper. We got to touch on the Mexico card. And you want to say some things about Chavez Jr.
Man.
Yes, I did, and he's actually in talks.
And Berlanga.
La cucaracha de los Chavez.
yes, la cucaracha. Well, I want to touch on the undercard real quick before we move on to Chavez. your man, Edgar Berlanga.
Berlangi.
He got another. I'm going to go there, though.
Oh, brace yourself.
I'm going to go there. Don't stop me,
You don't believe
bros.
the hype?
Don't stop me. Don't stop me.
What are you trying to say?
Keep
Hold
it
on.
going. Keep it going.
Here goes. The fight was stopped way too early.
Oh, premature
Premature stoppage. Now,
Are you
I'm not
kidding
saying,
me,
I'm not
Hopper?
saying, I'm not taking anything away from his physical attributes. No. And the knockout was definitely coming.
Why? Do you think because they want to keep the streak of the 15 in first round?
It sounds
He still
better.
had a lot of.
It sounds
he still
better.
had
But
a lot of time.
What's wrong with saying 15 fights in 2 rounds?
It's fun
or
to
less?
say.
It's the same.
But
No,
listen,
Everybody knows it.
The guy, look, he wasn't hurt. I
Okay.
mean, he wasn't.
He
there
was
were no
hurt.
knockdowns.
But he was hurt.
He was. He was
started
still
bleeding
defending.
already. He was
It
concussed.
was just if that's the barometer to stop fights, then we're in trouble. That's all I'm saying. If they're gonna stop fights that quick,
I think they stopped it more
It
because
was-
of the damage that he could sustain after being hit hard. And if you see him coming back to the ropes, he started to wiggle. Yep. And then he started throwing all this
he threw
combinations.
Berlanga threw 2 punches, and then here's what's more disturbing as well. The referee, after Berlanga threw 2 punches, looks at Linnell, his opponent Bellews, and he tells him, show me something. I'm like, he just threw 2 punches. Berlanga only threw 2 punches. Berlanga throws 2 more. Bellews tries to hold him, and the ref screams, get off him. Like, he can't clinch him. What? It felt like they were forcing this narrative on us instead of letting it happen organically because it's a shame. It was going to happen.
Here's the hate. I feel hate in the studio today.
I have to go there, brother.
I feel the hate.
You know how we do it. We have to
Bring it.
No, I mean,
we have to keep it. I'm not saying anything about his physical attributes. He's the man.
I can
he
see
has
that because
power,
at one point,
but it just felt like
I
don't
can see
force
it.
your
Manny,
narrative on me,
Manny.
man.
We love you, but if you do watch it again, I think he has something.
I can see it because we even talked about it. We're like, okay, is it stopped too soon? And you even said, okay, I think
like,
it's actually. But honestly, I think they were protecting more. For the
Were they
Yeah,
protecting
you
more? Or they
they're protecting him more.
You can
because
always
of
say
the
that, of course,
bombard
of course. You
and
can-
then all the
All right,
punches
well-
that were coming behind it.
We'll let you tell
don't
it,
wanna-
Manny. We'll let you tell it, brother. Let you tell it.
the Manny version.
God, there's
Hate,
so
hate,
much hate instead of love in this room.
No,
But
he's
anyway,
amazing. He's amazing. That's
it is,
all.
no,
That was my
it's
take
your
on Edgar
perspective,
Berlanga.
and I respect it.
We got just 5 minutes. So are we going with? You're gonna just touch on the Mexico card?
No, let's do Spence Canelo and then and Chavez Jr. Let me touch on Chavez Jr.
Perfect.
Well,
Chavez Jr. Is he still around?
Chavez Jr.
In his heels.
El Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He's in talks to fight Argentine boxer Nicolas Maceroni.
Pay-per-view?
Super pay-per-view.
After
Maybe on the undercard of his father fighting.
after he just got kind of
Odyssey
whooped for
again.
what? To quit
Yeah,
again?
and here's my
I love
point. Yeah,
quitters.
here's my point with Chavez Jr.
That's my odds. He's gonna quit. $100.
And
Oh, you're gonna win.
Maceroni is 19-1. He's never fought anybody with the level of Chavez Jr. And you never know what division you're gonna end up fighting Chavez Jr. because you could say super middleweight, but you might end up being a cruiserweight by fight night. So it pains me to say this about Chavez Jr. because I was a fan of his dad.
Wait.
He's
You
Mexican.
were a fan.
Oh, yes.
That's
Did I
tense.
say that?
I was
Whoa,
a fan.
Whoa.
No,
No,
he hates his own people.
I hate saying this about a fellow Mexican, but we can't take his career seriously anymore. I can't. I was one of the last guys on the bandwagon.
You really were.
I was still holding on. I was in the bandwagon.
And
I was
here
trying to
comes
convince you guys.
Casares.
I was trying to convince Gringo. No, Gringo, don't jump off. Come back in, brother.
Yeah.
Don't. Come on. There's plenty of
brought me back.
room. There's plenty of room here.
It's lonely
But
here.
no, it's just lonely. It's me. I was still holding out hope. Maybe he can resurrect his career. But Mario Casares came, and the first 20 seconds, I said, "Oh no,
And then
he's
he
in
quit.
trouble." And sure enough, he ended up quitting. Guys, Chavez Jr. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not one to tell a pro athlete to retire. Hey, do whatever the hell you want to do. As long you're getting paid for it, do it, brother. But to take it seriously, or anything that you say, I want to fight this.
So
guy.
why-
dude? You're it's a circus now. It's just 'cause
Why
of the
is he
name.
getting these opportunities then?
Because of the name.
name.
Because
I
is
just
it
said
just
'cause of
all about the name?
And that's all it is. I bet you that the DAZN doesn't release the figures. The Zone doesn't figure the release, but from everything the industry sources say, that it was a major hit. I mean, Chavez Sr. and Ar said they're going to do it again.
A fourth
one. That's how.
So it's all about the dad.
That's all
it's not
it
about
is.
the son.
And Junior's name comes up, and it's. And you know what though? I do feel.
Hey son, let me go ahead and fight again so I can see you fight again. And so he's never going to retire.
I've always had a soft spot for Chavez Jr. too because I always felt some of the comparisons to his father were unfair. And to be honest, just asinine because it's only one who loses at Chavez. Come on. It's only one. It's a generational talent. Right. I always felt the cards were stacked against him, especially but now it's gotten to a point where, come on, guy, what are you doing? It's just it's more for it's more for show. It's a joke. I can't take his career seriously, but
it's like this is the way I
felt. As far as me on the bandwagon, Mr. Junior.
This is the way I felt
bon voyage.
When I heard that this was going to happen. I love to see Arce and do a little bit little show there, but this is the way I felt, son. I'm still gonna get you in the ring. They're gonna watch me, and you're gonna be the co-main event. I just don't get it, to be honest. For me, it just destroys boxing. If he was committed and dedicated, that's fine. But the outside activities and how is he living to the expectations of the Chavez? That's just.
And he had talent. He had talent. But Gringo, what's your favorite Chavez Jr. fight?
Andy Lee.
Andy Lee. That's a great. That's when he displayed everything in his arsenal. Dedication. He still had it. Chin. And then the chin and the fire just went out. And it's a shame. Well, anyways, it's enough on Chavez Jr. Boom. Bon voyage, Mr. Jr.
See ya. I guess we'll still watch it.
I'll still be watching.
I already paid for it.
So to close us out, Hopper, the last 30 seconds, anything on the Mexico card you want to shout out real quick?
Well, I wanted to do the Errol Spence versus Canelo. We still got a few minutes, huh, Spider? Even if just maybe. All right. Errol Spence was Canelo. I heard that Spence wants to fight, or supposedly threw Canelo's name out there, right? All right. Okay. Let me start all over. 3, 2, 1. All right, bros. I got a filing cabinet in my head. I store great memories in there with my family, sporting moments, and so on and so on. But in one of those dividers, I also have a gibberish tab. And there's a lot of gibberish going out there with Errol Spence saying that he would like to fight Canelo. Well, let me just say this. Let me tell you what's really going on, why I call it gibberish. It's an old promotional tactic. Boxers do this all the time. When they have a fight coming up, they'll throw out whatever the current most popular fighter is.
That's what I call it.
For clout. It's for clout.
Out of someone else's plate and not eating your own thing.
That's all it is. It's to get us, or the casuals, talking. Oh, and then you see it all on social media. Oh, I can't wait. Or, oh, I bet you this. Or, well, I bet you it won't happen in 2021 or 2022 or anytime soon.
Ever, yeah.
No, 2020 ever. It's Errol Spence is fighting. If you think of it logically, Errol Spence is fighting at 147 pounds. Canelo just fought at 175 pounds. He's too small for that weight, so we'll probably end up fighting at 168. Even then, you're asking Spence to jump up multiple divisions to get to Canelo.
And you're asking Canelo to go down.
And you're asking Oscar De La Hoya, his current promoter, to ignore the hatred he has towards Spence's advisor, Al Heyman. It's just I call it gibberish, and it's just clout because Errol Spence has a fight coming up next month against Danny Garcia, who he should be focused on.
Exactly.
Worrying about that left hook.
Not only that, we don't know how are you going to react.
How are you? How's your punch resistant?
Gosh,
let's
imagine a punch from Canelo. I don't even want to even start entertaining myself on that. No. It ain't happening.
Not yet. At least.
We're probably going to see Pacquiao Mayweather again before we see.
Those
Canelo.
are the guys that would always do it. Every time Floyd had a fight, he would always throw Pacquiao's name. Every time Pacquiao had a fight, he would always throw Floyd. And it would come out of nowhere too. It wasn't. It just.
That's a good point.
A little gibberishy.
So the gibberish folder.
So you speak gibberish. You speak gibberish.
Gibberish
fluently.
I put it in my filing cabinet. Locked it away. I hate to burst a lot of bubbles.
So just kind of touch on it real quick. My takeaway from it was a red flag. I understood the clout perspective, but I was thinking you have a fight you could potentially lose.
Get knocked out with that left hook, Danny Garcia.
And I think you need to put all focus there. Now, after the fight, you can say you want to fight Santa Claus. You want to fight Damian Lillard, whatever. But
I want to fight Damian Lillard for that top 10 pound for pound list he posted. And we'll be touching on that too, Mr. Damian Lillard, on our next show. We'll give our own pound for pound.
Be looking forward to that. But seriously, I looked at it as a red flag. Like, I know people say things to get a reaction, but seriously, at least put the persona that you're focused on, Danny Swift Garcia, because it's an extremely important fight, and there's a lot riding on it. So I was actually not caught up in the cloud. I was discouraged.
It's like just gave Danny Garcia more motivation. Oh, you're looking past
nonsense.
me?
Nonsense in the nonsense.
For a fake fight?
And you know what the worst thing
not
it
going to
is?
happen?
You know what the worst thing it is some fans out there, they're starting to get confused because they're knowing right now, especially casuals, that, hey, he's supposed to be fighting. I got a couple texts. Hey, what happened to Garcia in Spence fight? Is that still going on? I said, yeah. Well, isn't he wants to fight Canelo? It's like, listen, man, there's a lot of things behind that. You mentioned a few of them too, but it's also to bring those Canelo fans to
over.
See.
It's like,
and it's a pay-per-view.
Este güey quiere pelear con Canelo. Déjale miro la pelea.
It's a pay-per-view,
and
meaning that you're gonna cash in somehow on some of these people that they buy the pay-per-view. And guess what? You want to try to hype the fight up. You want to see start putting wood into the fire and something that's not gonna light up.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna light up.
The wood is wet.
Stop it!
But Spence actually even takes it further. He says he wants to fight at Cowboy Stadium. So not only are you throwing Canelo's name, but you're throwing one of the most polarizing, popular teams in the world, the Dallas Cowboys name out there. That's a lot of clout chasing, my friend.
I don't see that right now.
That's a lot of clout chasing.
That's a lot of red flags.
That's a lot of clout.
A lot of red flags, especially with the Cowboys, too.
But yeah.
One quick thing I want to also kind of touch on that, too, and that kind of takes it back to our original point, talking about Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko, is that with the victory of Teofimo Lopez, him mentioning about, Boots Ennis and, the young wave of fighters, that, I'm an OG and I love the old way of thinking and the old fighters and all that good stuff. It did show me that I'm ready to move on from these fights that never got made. I mean, that includes, I'll go ahead and say it, Errol Spence versus Crawford. I'm beyond it now.
Over that already.
Yeah, so I'm ready for
the chances of it happening are just getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah, and then we don't even know what Errol Spence has.
I actually have faith. Maybe in the next fight. To be honest, I do. I believe that there could be. I don't know. There could be something that could be done if, after Crawford fights Cal Brooks and then you have, Danny Garcia and Spence and see what happens. I think there's now it's the time. And if it doesn't happen immediately, I don't think it's going to ever happen. But after this fight,
just what you said right there. Who is Crawford fighting again?
Cal Brooks.
Right. So these breadcrumbs are giving us have gone stale. And I'm hungry, but I'm not that hungry. I'm excited about the young lions and what they got going on. We are running over. Hopper, anything you wanted to add about the Mexico card before we close things out?
Yes, of course. Let me just pull up my computer just crashed. Yes, This Friday we have fantastic Mexico City fight card. You have one of Mexico's best fighters, Juan El Gallo Estrada. He'll be fighting Carlos Cuadras. And these four guys since 2012, with El Gallo Estrada, Carlos Cuadras, El Chocolatito Gonzalez, and Sor Rungsevai, they faced each other 8 times, and this will be 9. So they've all been memorable classics. El Gallo Estrada versus Carlos Cuadras. If Gallo wins, he'll be fighting somebody that's on that card as well, El Chocolatito Gonzalez. Chocolatito Gonzalez.
I thought it would be a very nice fight.
Yeah, that'll be a great fight. He's fighting Israel Gonzalez. He's going to be a bigger threat than anybody realizes because this guy, he can fight. And then topped off, or actually also on the card, is El Rey Julio Cesar Martinez, WC flyweight champion. It's easy must watch. We have 3 stellar fights. I'm excited. I can't wait for it tomorrow, and hopefully we'll talk about it after next week.
Yeah, a lot of fights. Telemundo Friday, Showtime on Saturday.
DAZN Friday.
DAZN, even though that Birdie Beat fight got postponed, but we have a lot of
fellas. We got a lot of talk coming up next week. So
EnVivo podcast
EnVivo
63. Juanito, how does it say?
Oh,
Fuera. Ay, adios. Vivo.